Welcome to another interesting episode of the Unfiltered podcast. This time around, we have two lovely members from Exalted Demons, the winners of the tournament that we held, the Valorant tournament that we held, Bragging Rights, which ended a few days back. I mean, you're probably gonna hear this like a week later when we decide to upload this shit finally. And as we always mention, the Unfiltered podcast is a place where you can talk about all kinds of things with no inhibitions, no blocks, and most importantly, no fucks given. So take all of that into consideration as we proceed into this. Gustavo and Baseplate, lovely to have you two here.
Thank
Hi.
you for having us. Hi.
Hi, how's it going?
I'm doing good. Well, you guys already showed your stuff in the tournament. I'm pretty sure people who've seen it have seen it and have admired it. But for the sake of leniency, why don't you two introduce yourself and give us a bit of like a background history about how Exalted Demons came to be?
That's on base. That's on base.
Alright, so basically, see, I've been playing for a couple of teams. I've been playing, once again, I'm Baseplate, hi. So, I've been playing for a couple of teams. A lot of people, know me from here and there, since Baron started. And we've been playing for a couple of teams, but it didn't really work out. It didn't really work out. I didn't feel like I actually fit into the teams that I played for. And it went on so forth and so forth, on and on, basically one team after the other. And then I joined this team, which I'm not gonna say the name of. I joined this team and I met this person. I think you guys know him. So I met Krishantan, basically. He goes by Goni Billa. So I met Krishantan, and then both of us we really synced in, we synced in, but we didn't sync in with the team. So we got off the team again, and then we decided okay, listen. So we got potential, and at the same time we want to make sure that we don't keep switching teams. We just need to have a solid team and actually improve in Valorant as a whole, because we've been seeing pro players play, and it's very exciting to see how they play. So I mean, I've always wanted to be a pro in the Valorant scene. I'm not, but I always wanted to be. So so I talked to Krishantan and I was like, okay, you know what, let's make a team. Fuck it, let's make a team. So so we decided to make a team, and then we didn't have a name. So we wanted it to be something corny, and at the same time something kind of serious. So that's why we have the tag XD, like the emoticon. And so we decided to make the team, and then so starting off it was me and Krishantan. We made up Exalted Demons, and and then we started recruiting people. We tried here and there, and then we joined an organization. And so basically I think last year we got into Division A as well. So we were playing on Division B Valorants, and then we got onto Division A, and then we had a couple of roster changes, and then we met this kid, Gustavo. So one of the best additions for the team, and we met him as well. And we had here and there we had issues, although we got into Division A, we had issues here and there. So we were thinking, okay, listen, what should we do? We need to have this solid roster, we need to find these people where they're not the usual Valorant players. They're not gonna do the same thing. See, when it comes to Valorant, a lot of people, they follow the same strats, they follow the same rules, follow the same agent compositions, but we need to try something different. So we wanted some extraordinary people on the team, and that is how we found him. So we tried to try him out a long time ago, but we didn't have the opportunity. So he started playing some other game. He started racing or something. I don't know. He'll tell you guys about the whole racing thing. And but before that, so he had some issues, and then later we talked to him you wanna play, bro? And he was like, yeah, sure, let's play, let's try it out. And then we tried him out, and we actually hit it off. We do the same jokes. Before the match, you should see our comms, bro. It's not serious whatsoever. We talk about the most random shit out there. We have the weirdest conversation. So we usually we sync really well, and things are nice. And Gustavo joined, and we started playing, and then we improved even more with this edition as well. We improved even more as a team, as a person. We fit into our roles. We synced as people. We we had fights. We had fun times, but we always get together when it comes to tournament. So it was fun. It was all fun and games, and we found about this, and then you were okay, so this in this period of time we were actually practicing for inter-uni. So we were practicing for interni because we are from the same university, and then we were like practicing. And then we were practicing for inter-uni, and yeah. So this came up, and they were like, okay, this is a good opportunity for once again because there are no any Valorant tournaments going on as well. This is a good opportunity, and we thought this was like gonna be our shape, small tourney and whatsoever. And when we came here, my god, the organization posts were right on time because you can never see when it comes to Sri Lankan Valorant, you can never see a post like when the moment the tournament starts and then the moment the tournament ends, you can't really see posts until it's like 6 to 7 hours after the tournament. So the posts were so on point. Like we were winning matches, the posts were right there. Like 10 seconds later, the post goes into Facebook. So it was so on point. Like everything was so on point, and like the organization was really good. So we were having fun, we were enjoying, and then finally. On the 26th, I think we actually won the tournament. I can't really remember the date, but yeah, we actually won the tournament. Yeah, so yeah, so it was all unexpected, but it worked out. So yeah, now we are Exalted Demons. We're not gonna disband or anything. We are just gonna stick there. We're gonna hold our ground. We're gonna show what we can do. There's more to improvement. And yeah, so when the rankings come, Sri Lankan rankings come, we'll definitely be there. Trying to make a change in the Valorant scene as a team. So that's my story to the team, bro. Such a long story, but I hope you enjoyed the story.
Well,
Yeah.
we love long stories in our podcast. Don't worry, we have a track record. Okay, Gustavo, eerily silent over here. We'd like to hear your perspective. No, before that, I even heard some interesting about you getting into sim racing. Give us a bit about your background and then tell us about how you how your journey is into this team.
So background. So I used to play Fortnite. I mean, almost every fucking kid plays Fortnite. And I had a very bad PC, and I think it got to the point where I was playing Arena at like 15 FPS, and I was like, I can't do this. 15 FPS, like 150 ping. I was like, no, this game is, I can't do this anymore. And then in 2020, in the middle of it, Valorant came, and I downloaded on my PC. I got 100 FPS. I know it's not much now, but then I was like, whoa, 15 to 100, holy shit! So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna play this, and it got really competitive. I got really competitive with it, and like it was fun. It was my first person shooter. I haven't played anything before that, other than if you count IGI or something. I haven't played a FPS game. So, and then I started playing. I didn't really get into like esports, and I started playing alone. Play school. I think when I first played, I played goal too, and was stuck in goal. Actually went to bronze at one point, but I came up, and then eventually I started joining teams. My first team was Yakuza, and it was with like one of my best friends now, Mike. I don't know if I can say the full name, but Mike and a few other friends. But we obviously disbanded. I was 15. I think I was 15 or 14. No, 15. 15 at the time. And then eventually got into Wolfgang, had a team there. Like Base said, I never really fit into, and I fit in, but then every team had some problem that was out of my control. I really couldn't influence it and get it done. So every team that I was in, we had to disband because of some problem that was out of my control. I couldn't do anything about it, and eventually it got to the point where I was like, bro, this is annoying. I started. There was this one team that I had really high hopes for, but that ended up disbanding as well for a problem that was not in my control. And then at one point I was like, can't be bothered. At that point, I already went to Immortal 3, and I don't think I was on the cusp of ready, but I was very close. Not very close, but I was close enough. But I was like, no, you know what? This game is not for me. It's depressing. I already had like other problems in my life going on, so I was like, this is an additional stress. So you know what? I'll play racing games. Cause why not? Cause I had a wheel. One of my friends lent me his wheel, and they ended up buying it from him, and I loved it. At first I played Forza, but then I got to know Assetto Corsa, F1, Assetto Corsa Competizione, and I just fell in love with these games, and I really enjoyed it. So I was like, you know what, Baron, we just toss that out. I'm gonna play racing games. That's when Base I think approached me, and I was like, I don't play Valorant anymore. And that was in last year December, I think. Not last year December, even like way before that.
Yeah,
And way before that, yeah. And then I don't know. One day I started playing Valorant again, and I was not performing like a person who left Valorant for 6 months. I was actually good. So I was like, okay, this might be something for me. And because we didn't get any meaningful results with other teams, I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll try to do something this time. And then I met, then I joined a friend's party, and then Krishantan was there, and I was like, okay. And then he was talking to me like, hey, we are looking for a fifth. Are you interested? I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. And then I joined, and then we had trials. It was a real trials. They were like, yeah, you know what? You're in. Like that's it. I didn't really have to even try out. And then, but they were very thorough with like how I play for the team, because I didn't play for a team for like a long time. So I was very selfish, taking individual fights, not trusting them, making very dumb decisions, making very selfish decisions. So Baseplate and Krishan was like very patient.
You were doing good cop and bad cop with him.
He was very
Oh.
patient, and very like motivating. In that if I do something stupid and I cost us the round, even if it cost us the game, they wouldn't like be like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Be like, no, after the game, even a few hours after the game, be like, hey, approach me and be like, hey, in this is what you did. It's not something you're supposed to do. This and that. Tournaments came. The first tournament, base, with the previous roster didn't really go well. But, I mean, last
But
match.
we did
Yeah,
actually
we
like
did well, yeah.
okay, yeah, we did actually like did do a lot of damage like mentally and physically to one of the top teams in Sri Lanka right now. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was a really good start after long while after getting Gustavo added in. Yeah, so
And
Okay.
then yeah, we really fucked them up. We fucked them up, and yeah, we had a roster change, and yeah, then we joined this, and yeah, like Pace said, this was one of the first tournaments I actually enjoyed playing in, because the streams were on point, the casting was on point, it was not biased like some organizations,
Okay.
um, and yeah, I really like, even when the match finished, I looked Facebook, boom, Exalted Demons wins, this that, and it was on point. I got dragged into a pre-match interview by accident, and I think I got some hate because they were like, oh, guess the scoreline. It was like, oh, 13-2. I panicked. I was like, but we ended up 13-4. Yeah, 13-4
yeah,
or something. That's not bad. We just gave two
Close
rounds. I
enough.
mean, close enough.
close enough.
So yeah, ever since then, and then we won tournament. I got MVP, I think. Yeah, I got MVP.
Oh yeah, you
And
got MVP, yeah?
I got MVP, and yeah, happy days. Ever since then, I can't wait for the next tournament. Yeah, practicing like like he said, for the inter uni and the rank tournaments. So yeah, we are gonna be on form. We're gonna be on form for sure.
All right. So okay, as a member of Game Changer, I do have to ask because let's be real, this is the first tournament that we ever done. Okay. So consider this to be a public beta test, and now we're asking you for your feedback. How was the experience for you boys? Is there anything that we should know that we should change? Yada yada yada. Did you guys have a flying fun time? Is what I'm basically asking.
Yeah,
Right.
base. Go for it.
Yeah, so I think what everything was so good, everything was so on point, and like when it comes to like the downside, I think if we could like, so it's this is the thing, so when it comes to like a more like a wide map pool, like a wide team pool, like there's gonna be a lot of problems with like managing the like managing like then multiple teams. So I think what would have been really nice would be having like multiple teams, because we had like 8 teams, right? So so if we had like more teams, I mean, it's very hard to like first start this was perfect. First start this was perfect, but in the future, if we could like have like more and more teams, because like the more the challenge is, like the more the merrier, basically. Like at the end of the day, we want to see more Valorant. So I think if we had like more teams and more competitive teams here and there, and obviously like couple of teams that like the thing is this. So it's not about like like looking down on smaller teams. It's more like smaller teams getting an opportunity to like actually go up against like higher teams, because when it comes to ranked in Valorant, you never get to like the thing is like the matchmaking is never like balanced, like when it comes to like tournaments, like the map schedules, like map schedule wise, like I think I'm not gonna name it, but like either ways, like
Yeah, of
either
course.
ways, either ways, when it comes to like a tourney, like the moment you like you get together with a couple of friends, you make a team, and then you get into the tournament, and then you go up against the best team in Sri Lanka. How does that work? And then the moment you play up against them, you end up killing yourselves, and like it's a easy 13-0, bro. Like wow, such a fun tournament. So that is how it usually is. But like see, the thing is, like having more and more teams, like although this is not ranked, I feel like in a tournament like this, if we had more teams, like giving them a chance to play up against like teams that are like balanced, like to their level, I feel like that will like actually give more experience. So like, what if there's a really new team and they are really good, but they never get the opportunity to like play well. So this if having experienced teams, like having taking down experienced teams, will definitely like get them onto that spotlight. I feel like for those little teams, it would have been a really nice opportunity if we had like more teams in the pool. So basically, like yeah. So like I think I've heard like two or three teams on the roster that we had that day. I think I remember Saints. I think there was a couple of other. Yeah, there was a friend. I think Ravi asked him. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't really remember. Yeah, he came and talked to us. He was like, "Yo, how's it going, boys? It's been so long." Like, yeah, bro, how's it going? So like friends, obviously friends. So yeah, a couple of teams that we know. So besides that, the rest of the teams we didn't know. Like we were like totally like in the dark. And at the same time, EvolveX. I have to like mention EvolveX only because I mean, yeah. Not to like Saints. Obviously, like a lot of people know Saints, right? Like obviously, right? They've been being in the Valorant scene for a long time, but no one knows EvolveX. So that day we were like, okay, we are probably gonna have Saints on the finals, but EvolveX suddenly shows up on the finals. I was like, what? Like, who are these guys? Like, I've never heard of them. Like, likewise, that is the opportunity that you need. Like, see, like I definitely thought, like, okay, there's obviously gonna be like, no one here that I know would take out Saints. I'm like, okay, definitely we're gonna have them on the grand finals. Like, so we were ready. I told the boys as well, boys, we know what they're up to. So I was like thinking, we know what they're up to. This is what's gonna happen. And the final poster shows up and it's EvolveX. I'm like, what? What is this? And I was so confused, man. I was like, yo, do you know anyone from EvolveX? And then we were like, no, we don't. Like, this is the first time we are seeing them. Like, and then that's the thing. Like, see, we've played before, but we've not seen them. And at the same time, they took out a team that we know. So that actually brings out like, so like, see, I remember the name. I remember the team name now, EvolveX. See, like, likewise, that is what you need. That is what you need to like, build a name in the community. Like, going up against like, teams, but in an equal basis, not like getting cut off from the neck the very match you play. But like, yeah. So likewise.
I mean, clues in the name, right? Bragging rights. I mean, this is a chance for teams that are up and coming, teams that have like worked their ass off to get to a certain point, to kind of set themselves out there. It doesn't necessarily have to be official ranked tournament. This is opportunity to test your skills and put yourselves out there. The reason why I'm asking all of this in such a public way is because I want to put it out there that we take like criticism, not just criticism, we take like suggestions and all of that when it comes to improving the stuff that we do kind of seriously, because gaming, okay, this is the best example I can give you, right? Gaming, in my opinion, it's not a stakeholder experience, it's a shareholder experience, right? No, actually, I got it turned around. I think gaming is not a shareholder experience; it's a stakeholder experience. People who are involved in it as a hobby, people who have been doing it since they were young, they're the ones who should be considered when we're taking steps forward, but not the shareholders, not the sponsors, not the ones that not the orgs or that shit, right?
Yeah.
So that's the like thought process that we had when we came up with this bragging rights, right? Like it's like we call it bragging rights, but it's exactly what you said, Baseplate. So I thank you for that, and I'm gonna push the envelope forward, and I'm gonna put in the suggestion. I'm pretty sure the guys who organized are gonna be watching the podcast as well, so they will take the opportunity to bring these tournaments to more people, more teams, more clans, maybe if you can get them to participate as well, and create the ideal battleground that you guys desire, because at the end of the day you guys need to get something out of this too other than bragging rights, right? So yeah, it's a nice perspective to have. Thank you very much for sharing. Gustavo, aka Oni, anything you want to add in your part, or did we cover everything?
Yeah, he basically covered everything, and EvolveX was a big thing, and I have to specifically mention Pikachu because there's a big stigma in this world, not only Sri Lanka, but it's very big in South Asian countries that women can't play video games. Women are bad at video games. Women need to be boosted. This and that. It's not the case. Pikachu is a big example, and I even after the match, I added her. I was like, "Hey, you did really good. I was very impressed. Being a new team, she basically like was a big part in Evolve X's success. She was getting the entry, she was getting the frag. She wasn't scared at all. It's exactly what I want to see in like women playing video games, and I like that's the only thing I want to add.
This is exactly what you just said, right? That's quite possibly why we're never gonna be doing women's titles, right? Because this is just a thought on my end, but I get the feeling that it should be open platform on both ends, right? Like
yes.
like segregation is so 1990s, right?
Yeah.
Let's be fucking real. It's like having a toy aisle and having a boys section and a girls section. Like,
Yeah.
same fucking concept for gaming does not seem to work out. So I don't. I think that's a very nice thing you said. I'm pretty sure Pika's gonna hear this too. So yeah, fucking go. So yeah, we're gonna get a bit more focus on that as well. Hopefully, a little bit more representation will go a long way because there are more people out there like Pika that I'm absolutely fucking certain of, and we just need to get the word out there, get them to take part, and hopefully bring bragging rights to them as well one day, because right now our presence isn't exactly up there as you might expect, right? So other than the tournament experience, right, the competition needs to evolve. So are you guys planning to take part? Like you guys said, y'all are currently practicing for the inter-uni championship, right? Are there any other plans in the future for you guys, Exalted Demons? Like, are you guys gonna be exclusively a Valorant team? Do you guys have like other sub branches, yada yada yada? Or on a standpoint as a team?
I mean, we are actually like, so we play for Maximum Esports, and so right now we are one of the A division teams in Sri Lanka.
Okay.
Yeah, so like basically top 8 teams in Sri Lanka. So so I think we got in last year. We were down in B division for a long time, and then we had roster issues. Not gonna lie, we had so many roster issues, but even with the roster issues, we gave out our all, and then we got into Division A, and of course now we have this kid as well on the team, obviously. And I mean, I don't have to say it. You guys have seen him play, so I'm not gonna say much about him. So so I mean, if that addition isn't good enough, bro, I don't know what is. And at the same time, the team is like, as a team, I'm gonna like shout out to like the whole team. We had RUR, we have Krishantan, and obviously Gustavo and our Dragon Knight DK. Obviously, you guys saw what DK is capable of for that day.
Yeah,
so,
holy
yeah. So we have a really good team. So I mean, at the same time, like so we started out from scratch. We didn't like bring out anyone like we didn't like take in any top-notch players from Sri Lanka. We started off really slow because I can tell you, I started off from silver. And so, when I actually started Valorant, I think this is gonna be the first CS type of game, because from FPS I think I've played COD 4 before, and so I've not played CS:GO before, but when it comes to this, so I started off Valorant very fresh. And so there's a lot of improvement from me, from my team, and obviously like, so I'm really looking forward as a team to like be one of the top teams in Sri Lanka. Obviously we're already out there, but there's more improvement there, because obviously we had a lot of roster changes and we need to get into place. We need to get the synergy in as well. But so like I said, if you guys listen to the call outs, it's mayhem out there, but it's nice at the same time. That is what the team needs, like friendly communication and fun at the same time. So yeah,
maybe one day one of you guys should actually record one of your sessions.
We should.
Yeah.
We should actually. We should.
Like not just like practice. Fucking. It's one of the tournament sessions. Like beginning to end.
It's not gonna be fun hearing. I mean, it's gonna be fun because it's gonna be all sorts of like. So it's not swearing at each other. We never swear at each other. We never like fight or anything like that. It's like we just talk about random people.
Random people.
It's just the most random things out there. Like. Yeah.
You know what? Next tournament, I'll record it and post it on my TikTok. How about that?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it actually.
That's the thing, right? Shenanigans like that, especially if you guys are going like again A division. It's not an easy feat, right? it's for social presence is the best thing,
Mhm.
give a little bit of an inside view on what goes on in your head, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It'll be a good opportunity.
Yeah,
uh
of course.
and I have a personal question to ask Gustavo. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think it is possible, do you think we should hold a sim racing tourney in the near future?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Why would you ask that question? He's obviously gonna say yes. Like
Yeah.
so what you're doing right now, Manuel, is like you're taking my boy from Valorant to racing, bro. You shouldn't do that, man. Bro,
Hey, it's not for shits and
can we
giggles,
end the
but
podcast now, guys? Because I think I'm done here. Can I take my boy now?
come on, let's go. Well, all jokes aside, a lot of our people have been looking into Assetto purely because
Yes.
I've been playing it a bit. I'm a controller boy myself. I don't have a wheel.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, if the opportunity arises once we figure out how the servers work and all of that, because I myself I just drive around that one mod that allows you to ride in the highways of Tokyo, like highways of Japan.
Shadoko.
Yeah,
Yes.
should that's what I've been riding around, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, once we figure out the server thing, I'm pretty sure it's in the cards. Nothing's established yet, right? It's in the cards. It's all I'm saying. Okay. I have a question to ask from the two of you, both of you. Okay. You guys, you guys started off as passionate gamers, eventually moved into the esports scene. Now you're a part of like Maximum, and you're like doing this thing, and you guys are gonna shoot to the stars, right? Were there any inspirations for you in the Lankan gaming scene that kind of push you to like become the very best? Like I'd like to hear a few of them. Shout them out. Kind of hear them
Oh
out.
yeah. So I think when we started the team, and then I think so I had a lot of thought, after we got onto A divisions as well, I had a lot of thought because I didn't want to go back down there because we already went to a certain level, and from that level I told my team as well, we're not gonna go down from here, we're just gonna keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And so we had a lot of thought into it, and so I'll tell you this. So what actually, so for me personally, what actually drove me I tell the team it's crash landing on you. I think I think a lot of you guys know them. I mean crash landing on you, and I think they actually, despite, so I remember back then there used to be a bunch of immortals and diamonds. So we did have Radiance in Sri Lanka. We did have Radiance and Immortal teams, full Radiant and Immortal rosters on Sri Lanka, and they took out one of the top teams that they've never been. I'm not gonna mention the team, but they've never lost before. They've been dominating the Valorant scene in Sri Lanka, teabagging the kids, sitting down on them, and yeah, it was not a fun place on the Valorant scene, and crash landing on you, being a new team. Obviously, there was Deadshot, there was Sinbad and Thunderflash and everyone as well, and they're very well known in the scene, but at the same time the team was new. So they actually took out that team, and then they went into the Sri Lankan. They went in the Sri Lankan qualifiers, and so they were basically playing they were basically playing the Asia Pacific qualifiers basically. So they lost the opportunity on the Indian qualifiers because obviously we have to play on the Sri Lanka Indian service, yeah. So us Sri Lankans, we get 120 ping on Mumbai service, so that is not a very good side to be playing Valorant on. So yeah, so I'd say I'd say when I actually saw them play, I felt like if I could ever do that, it was actually a lot of motivation for me, and that was actually that is what inspired me to keep pushing, because one day I wanted me and myself, I wanted me and my team, me, myself, and my team to actually go into that spot as well. So I was like, okay, you know what, we should try that too. It's actually they were going up against not Sri Lankan teams, Indian teams. They were going up against Pakistani teams, Maldivian teams, and that was fun. So that was very fun because I wanted to I actually wanted to do that as well, and they were doing it in style as well. It was all those very close rounds, 1v1s, and they were having the audience at the edge of the seats, and basically that is what drove me. And while after we were done with the A division, we had a coach who was also from Clash Landing on You. We had a coach who was also from Clash Landing on You, and he actually mentored us for a certain for some time. So obviously you guys know, when it comes to high elo players, a lot of them are willing to help you. If you're all the way down there, they're shape give you a little bit of a hint
Aim
or
head
whatnot.
level.
Yeah. Aim head level. Yeah, exactly. That is the only kind of advice they'll give. Like, guy, you gotta have crosshair placement, okay, and play aim labs or like go do Kovacs or something. And that's the only advice you'll get. But Sinbad, who was the IGL from Crash Landing on you, helped us actually. So every time when someone asks me like okay like have you ever gotten help, I'm like okay, yes, because Sinbad helped us. Like that was like one of the opportunities we got as a team to actually like think in his perspective, like the ways he actually taught us. Like he actually taught like a lot of stuff to us like back then. And now he's playing for the team, and he's obviously chilling and like taking a time off from Valorant. Yeah, he plays fun now. He doesn't like competitively play that much, but he helped us a lot. He was like one of those figures, like one of those role models for us to actually like keep pushing. Because yeah, I'd say this out. I always thank him. Like every time after 20, I always thank him. Like bro, like you've helped us, and like yeah, you helped us. And I never forget. Like every time I go, like whenever if I'm the referee or if I'm whatnot, like I always tell like okay, this is Sinbad. He taught us. He was our coach for like certain amount of time. And that is like basically what drove us through to like keep pushing, I guess. And yeah, so thumbs up to him for helping us out. Yeah.
All right, Gustavo, any inspirations on your end that you would like to share with
Yeah.
the world?
When they were in 8th division, I had Sinbad. I wasn't there, so I don't know anything about that. But
Okay.
my motivation to go into esports and climb up the ladder was, and who I looked up to was really no one. That's why I want. No, like, look, there were exceptional players that I got, like, like inspiration from. Like, one person that I would specifically, no, two people I'd like to specifically mention is Chromes and Scrim. They were Scrim actually took like his. I don't know if that counts as advice, but he did actually like tell me to look, play Kovacs, this is what you should do, blah blah. At the time it was advice, but even now, like if I didn't start playing Kovacs or aim loves or whatever, I wouldn't get the aim or like get the fundamentals, because it was my first ever FPS, right?
Mhm.
So, and yeah, I mean I don't know now. Now looking back, it wasn't really advice. It was basically common sense, but it gave me the foundation. So yeah, them. One person who really helped us with strats was when I was in my second team. My first team in Wolfgang was
Mhm.
I don't know if you all know Mist Tipsy Sharika. Uh, he actually the day before Division B finals stayed up with us until like 1 a.m. discussing strats.
Hmm.
1 a.m. and going through each and every individual's skill sets and basically taking every ingredient and making a magic potion. Unfortunately,
Oh.
we lost because team issues. I'm not gonna say what happened, but we lost. And but yeah, those three. But the reason I wanted to start was there is no Scream in Sri Lanka. There is no, Yay in Sri Lanka. There is no one that's outperformed. Like there is no exceptional star, right? There is no one that's international level yet. So
Hmm.
yeah. And even though the our team, that I'll be brutally honest, even though that I'm not as good as them. I am nowhere near the top players in Sri Lanka yet. But when you even think about it, we can't even 100% compete with Indian teams, right?
Hmm.
Globally, esports always defeated us, as I remember, and we can't compete with some Maldivian teams, Maldives or something like that, Malaysian or something. So there isn't no team yet, right? Or a player that can like play of that caliber yet. So when I started, I didn't think that I had to stop because like of the stuff, other external factors affecting me. But when I started, I wanted to be that player that everyone's like, oh my god, it's him, don't peak, something like
Okay.
that. So I think I kind of have the reputation now, but not there, not into the to the international level. If some random Indian esports team sees Gustavo, will peak, kill him. So I'm not like, it's not there yet, but one day
Hmm.
hopefully I get there, and I want my team to be like the most feared team, like,
Yeah.
remember when UG were dominating, when Gunslingers were dominating, when Team Neo is dominating. I want us to be better than them at one point. So it's not just like individual label on my head. When they see Neo, bro, or Neo, no, sorry, not Neo, Neo, like what the feeling we got when we saw Neo on the brackets. Let's say you register to a tournament, your first match is with Neo, you're like, yeah, I'm out. Get what I'm saying? So, I want that label on our team, and I want that individual label for myself as well. So yeah.
That's a fine thing to work towards. I mean, especially in a very competitive environment like esports, right? That makes complete sense. And where you guys mentioned something that which is surprising because that was actually going to be my next question, right? You mentioned that we don't have talent that can actually go towards the global just yet, right? We can't say the
Not that
same.
we don't have talent, I guess. Not that we don't. We do have a lot of talent in Sri Lanka, but at the same time, it's just that how the system works, right? It's just how the system works. It's not that we have really talented Valorant players. I've seen a lot here in SL, but like it's just that how the system works.
Yeah.
We go to a certain level and then we get cut off, bro.
Yeah.
That's
so
the sad part to it.
yeah, it's like that's exactly what I was gonna ask, right? You see, we have all of these opportunities. For example, India and all those people, they have like qualifiers happening, especially qualifiers that can take you all the way to VC if you're lucky, right? Valorant Champions. Like, do you think I just want your perspective, okay? Do you think it's talent or it's organization that's fucking players up at this point?
Both.
Both.
I say both because I'll be quite frank. Yes, there are talented people here. We might be able to beat Maldivians, maybe Indians, maybe even compete with them. But there is no one that may compete. We can compete with them. We still look. We had one of the best rosters in Sri Lanka for Valorant. Like we had the best. We had Chromes in the same team as Scrim, Kapumba, Vision. That was the most dominant team in Sri Lankan Valorant history. And they went up against these Indians, Malaysians, Maldivians, but we couldn't. We beat some, but we couldn't beat the top level. We couldn't beat global esports, and globally. So our top Valorant team could not beat India's top Valorant team, and that says something. That also our infrastructure. Our infrastructure is very shit. Our Sri Lankan teams had to play through VPNs to get playable ping there. So I still can't say that it's our team's fault because we were held back so much because of our hardware, our economy, the power strikes, the internet, and because most Valorant players, none of them have 144Hz screens. I got my 144Hz screen a year ago, right? Everyone starts off with a 60Hz screen. No one has a gaming mouse. I know very insane players playing on office mouse. You give them a gaming mouse, you do magic, right? So it's because of our country that a lot of people and the culture. You tell an aunt, your uncle, oh, I play video games. I want to be an esports player. What will they be like? Esports player? What is that? They look down on you. And it's that culture that really stops even the youngest of kids of even thinking about it. That's the problem. There's a lot of factors. It's just you give Sri Lankan players the infrastructure, the equipment, the space, and the freedom to explore what they want to be, and they'll be better than better than they could be. We could have a Sri Lanka team in VCT if we had the correct environmental factors, but we don't. So it's not just talent. Even if you have talent, if you don't have it's like having the ingredients but not a machine to put those ingredients into and to make an outcome, right? If your machine is shitty, then the outcome is going to be shitty, right? So even if you have the best ingredients, if you throw it to an oven that burns your pizza into a fucking roti, then what's the point? You're getting a roti, not a pizza, right?
I see.
It does. I don't know if it makes sense, my these things, but yeah, it's just a lot needs to change in order for us to go there. Look, we have India. We are Sri Lanka. India is like right there, right? And our ping is like 100 and something. Like, how is that possible? But for Singapore, that's like miles away. It's like fiber is like 45.
50s,
How does
50s and
yeah
plus.
50s? How is that? How? when you
Yeah,
measure
that's
it,
the,
and
that's the funny part. So it's fine if it's like if it's fine if it's like okay, so Mumbai servers, okay, the Indians obviously get like 6 to 10 or like 12
yeah.
ping, right? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so it's fine if we get like 50s or like 45. It's totally cool, but it's 120s, bro. Like, what do you expect?
How can you
So
play?
like if you play that, I mean like. Okay, so ping, there's so much when it comes to Valorant. There's speakers advantage. There's like the fact that the shots, you gotta see if the shots actually register. So there are like so many factors to it, and this is international level as well. So there's not gonna be like so everyone's gonna be good at this level. So if Gustavo and I, we are like in two different teams, and like obviously I'm Sri Lankan, he's Indian, like we are at the same skill level. Now what's gonna be the way? What's gonna be the factor that is gonna decide the win? It's obviously gonna be that certain factor, that ping factor, he's gonna be playing on like 9 and I'm gonna be playing on 110. I'm gonna have the same skill level, but at the same time, that is gonna bring me down, right? Because
Yeah,
be logical, 110 and 9, like there's such a difference.
That's a big difference in
Big
even when it comes
difference.
to reactions and all of that, right?
Yeah.
So here's the right. This is just a hot take, right? We have all of these, service providers, pushing towards esports sponsoring and all of that, right? So, do you think it's time they start taking a good look at themselves and,
Yeah.
like fucking, like let's be real, right? That's the whole fucking point, right?
Yeah.
Like I understand collaborating with like SLD Dialogue and all of these other service providers to kind of bring out push like all these things forward. But if as partners when it comes to gaming, if they can't provide the best infrastructure for people to play competitive esports,
Yeah.
what
That's
the
the point.
fuck, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
in Sri Lanka, you can find so many sponsors. You can call, this service provider. You can call that service provider. They'll like support you with money and like host tournaments and whatnot. And then when you actually play the tournament, you disconnect in the middle of the match and then you get the technical post, and then you get the technical post. But we can actually say what the problem is because our sponsor is my service provider.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
router
Happens.
Gia, basically. So they're gonna be like, okay, brother, router Gia. So my router actually went off, and
What's your router?
yeah, what's your router? It's this, and who's your sponsor? It's also that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So here's the thing, right? Sponsors are sponsors at the end of the day.
Mhm,
They're gonna sponsor you if you ask for it or if they feel interested. It is my perspective, okay? It's my sheer perspective that if an entity is in charge of gaming, it's their job to push the agenda towards said sponsors
course.
that are like, basically pioneering towards SSEG and all of this
Of
big
course.
stuff, right? To fix their shit, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
It's a very simple concept,
That's
right?
just basic. That's just basic. Yeah. It's not about putting your name out there. It's actually doing the work because, like, obviously you're gonna have negative marketing. Sure, like, everybody's gonna hate you, and that's negative marketing. I get that. But like at the same time, it's not about putting your name towards that certain point. It's not that what if like what if actually instead of like like okay, sponsoring is actually like I'm very glad that we have a lot of sponsors when it comes to gaming in general. But at the same time, what if like they actually like help our esports community with like better internet, like better proper stable connection, like no packet loss whatsoever, like we always get like and better packages, because the packages
Affordable
alongside
packages.
affordable packages, exactly, because like the packages in Sri Lanka are so bad, like everything's so bad, like if you like okay, so basically I think okay, so if you purchase in Xalted, I think if you purchase 1 GB of internet, it's gonna be they'll say it's 100. But right now, I think
Taxes.
yeah, without taxes, right? And then it'll add you like what 50 to 65 or 85, something like that. And then so it's just 1 GB, and that'll of course you can't do much with a GB, right? Like that's just not logical.
Yeah.
So that's just 1 GB, and like so likewise, I think if they actually could do like actually focus on like doing fixing these small problems like the stable internet thing I mentioned, and then affordable packages and all that, people are gonna remember them for something good instead of being like, okay, this is the shitty service provider that I used to use back then when I was in Sri Lanka when they leave the country.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Speaking of bandwidth costs, right? It's a popular opinion amongst many that the reason why, especially mobile service providers, right, they sponsor these events because at the end of the day, if a kid wants to play Free Fire, they have to buy a data card from the shop, and by promoting said esports and getting more people onto the fold, more
Yeah.
kids will buy more data cards from shops, right? Do you think this kind of thinking kind of ends up wrecking the very scene that they're trying to uplift? Should there be
Oh yeah.
like that's one problem that I see, because early on, before the inception of Game Changer, okay, because it goes both ways. Before the inception of Game Changer, there was one particular incident where a kid committed suicide over PUBG Mobile or
Yeah.
Free
Oh
Fire, I
yeah,
can't
yeah,
remember,
Yeah.
yeah.
right?
Yeah. I remember. I
Yeah.
remember.
Police investigators did not really do their task well, but we had different non-profit organizations going, we are going to tell TRCSL to ban video games from Sri Lanka
Oh,
because
okay.
a kid killed himself over video games, right? And the investigators didn't do jack shit to properly do it. So what most TV channels did was they went to the investigative scene. The police were like, oh, we found a lot of data cards on top of his table and a lot of gaming stuff, gaming kills kids. However,
Uh-huh.
and we took the time to cover this on our individual services. Months later, it was revealed that the kid was like basically catfish slash blackmailed by another Sri Lankan player, and like pictures were sent about and all of that, and that ended up pushing that person off the edge, right? So incidents happen. So if we don't like cover all the bases in terms of gaming, right, it's gonna go into like such a massive shit show. So that's why I was especially impressed when Gustavo mentioned that we need to set the basis, we need to like clear out the stigma, we need to create the awareness as to what this is, why people do this as a hobby, and create the generational gap like kind of shit that's going on around like old people's heads especially, right? So you think that kind of awareness, the initiatives to make that kind of awareness should come from established entities? Do you think
Of
that should be
course, of
something
course.
that should
Yeah.
focus on?
Yeah, of course. The thing is this, okay, so looking at the culture right now, so if you get culture to one side and if you get esports to another side, when you like if they collide together, they're like not even collide, if they like go parallelly together, they are two factors that overlap, right? Because our culture doesn't really like fit along with esports in Sri Lanka, because like just like Gustavo said, it's not that, so let's say, there's this kid who's really good at what he does, this really good Valorant player. I'm not quite sure a lot of people is aware, how much an esports player makes, like, a professional esports player makes, because that's a lot of money, bro. I'm telling you, that's a lot of money. I'm telling you, and I mean, I'm quite sure, like, a lot of these pro players, Ken, Celsius, and all these guys, they make tons of money just by sitting here and playing video games and just staying up on stream, just having fun, doing the thing of their life. And whereas, a lot of other people, who work their ass off as well, obviously, spends a lot of time, putting their heart out and actually like, stopping, like, skipping lunch, skipping dinner, skipping breakfast, like, working really, really hard to find a lot of like a little, a portion
bit
of
of
money.
money.
Yeah, exactly. Like a quarter of what an esports player makes, basically. So, and that is obviously that is accepted in the culture, and whereas esports, it's just it's just kids doing kid things. That's just what our culture considers esports to be. So, I think looking at the old generations, obviously it will take some time for them to understand. But us, we are the new generation, right? We're the new generation. We are very much aware. So if we had kids, we'll tell them, if
We'll
they
tell them
want,
these
yeah, we'll
esports
tell them,
players.
bro. We'll tell them, man. Like, we'll always guide them. Like, if they tell, okay, I'm good at this game, we'll know, we'll feel what they
Yeah.
feel, because like we are aware, because we've been there. Like, our culture, I mean, our generation is very different. So, like, we are more open-minded. I'm not saying like, I'm not saying I'm not insulting any generation, but we are more open-minded to new technology. We are open-minded to like the esports concept, and like, we know things, like, we know more things, like, like we know what they'll feel when they say, I wanna be good at this game. So I mean, I have a younger brother, so yeah, see, he didn't used to be into gaming. He used to be into gaming, and now he plays Valorant. And he's like, my uni team plays Valorant, and they asked me if like, if I can join them, and then he said sure. And then that day I was watching him play with his uni team, and he was like, I want to show I want to show my best to them. Like, I want to actually get good at this game, and I want to show what I can do to them so that they'll accept me into the team. I was like, yeah, bro, just do you. If you need any help, I'll help you out. And I can feel what he feels because I like that sense of acceptance because if you're good at something, and if you want to really prove out that you're really good at that, you'll always keep on improving that certain factor, right? And you'll always keep on working on it. Because I'm good. I know I'm good at it, and I'll keep on working on it. So yeah, so basically, if people let you down, like if people actually okay, that's no point in working out on it because it's just not gonna be like any good in 10 years. But they don't know that. They don't know that like you can be anything you want, man. Like it's 2022, you can be anything you want.
Yeah, that's a very interesting place to enter into. You can be anything you want. Right?
Yeah.
What you said absolutely makes sense. Sri Lanka is always norms over passion, but in reality, with the current day and age that we live in, it's passion over norm. If you are good at something, if you like something, you can make something out of it, which is perfect, right? Now comes the fun segment of this podcast. We talked about y'all. We talked about the team. We talked about some sensitive things here and there in a very safe manner. Surprisingly, surprisingly, I expected a lot more blowout. You guys kept your calm.
Trust me, we can be a lot more, but yeah, we're just trying our best.
It's our first podcast appearance.
It's our first podcast. We don't want to blow it, Yeah, we don't want to blow it,
Good job.
Yeah, we don't want to be like, it's those two buggers,
now comes the fun part. You guys can calm down, okay? This is the opportunity for the audience to kind of know, Gustavo and Baseplate in its entirety. Your origins in gaming and who you are as people, okay?
Oh.
So consider these questions to be quick fire, and I'm just gonna quick fire a question to both of you. Okay, you both have to prepare your answers.
So wait, individually.
Not individually, both of you. Okay.
Oh, okay.
You no time to write it down, no time to think about it. Just quickly answer. Okay. Team sync. Okay. I'll say the question. Baseplate quickly answers. Gustavo quickly answers. Okay.
Okay.
1,
Oh god.
2, 3. Baseplate. 3 favorite games of all time. Go.
Valorant, COD 4, and Apex Legends.
Gustavo.
Valorant, Assetto Corsa, F1.
Okay. All right. Now second question. Okay. If I bestow upon you a monthly role or a CEO position of gaming, okay, what is the one thing that you will change in Sri Lankan gaming? Baseplate, go.
One thing that I change is Sri Lankan gaming. I'd make sure that I'd make sure that I actually make a platform where like a certain place where like gamers can get together. It's where gamers can get together and enjoy gaming in one certain building, like somewhere that has really good gaming material, gaming peripherals. Somewhere it has to have perfect gaming material, and it has to have all the comfort seats and all that, and the really good internet connection, LAN internet connection,
Lounge
everything
areas.
Lounge
exactly lounge areas, exactly.
Like
so,
Korea's PC banks.
Good food and everything like that. So a place where gamers can actually get together. A friendly place though. A friendly place where people can actually get together. Even if there's a tourney, like if there's like if there's like an international tourney, our Sri Lankan players can come here, like talk to each other. It's basically like a boot camp, but like for our Sri Lankan gamers basically.
Okay, Gustavo, you.
Change price pools, make it fucking equal maybe, and not have one mobile game have 1 million rupee prize pool and a PC game have 20,000 rupee prize pool maybe, and make it more like equal when it comes to genders, like having women have the platform to play games and excel like Pikachu did, so that all those soy boys can shut up and accept that women are actually better than them at video games. So yeah.
Okay. Alright, this next session is gonna be a fucking doozy, okay? How would the tournament scene be split between PC and mobile gamers? Baseplate.
Well, I didn't get you.
How should the tournament base, like let's say there are 10 tournaments, how should the tournament base should be split between PC and mobile?
Oh, right. Okay. So right now I feel like, although a lot of these guys, they think, okay, there's a lot of people playing mobile games. That's because, people have phones. Okay. That's because people have phones and it's just very easy to play a game. You just download it off Play Store and you play the game. But people just don't have good PCs. That's the problem. So either ways, I'm telling you, PC gaming is a different field. PC gaming is a different field. So if you had to separate it to, I'd say 6 tournaments for PC and 4 tournaments for mobile.
Alright, Gustavo, quick.
5-5, just equal. As much as we have to think about Sri Lanka, and it's not our fault. It's not the gamers' fault that PCs are very hard. Good PCs that are very hard to obtain, especially
Okay.
for like normal kids. I'm talking about like normal kids, like not the rich, and like So mobile phones is the most accessible thing, and gaming is gaming. Whatever the game it is, I encourage you to play it. So 50-50, so that everyone, PC or mobile or console, can have a shot
We
at
forgot about the
being
console.
best. Yeah, what about the console, man?
What about
What?
the console? Yeah, okay, now we have to change it.
Yes. Yes. No, I did that because I expected you guys will go towards the 6-4 or the 5-5 because if I reckon, so you would have to think a bit more.
Yeah,
True.
True.
What are the most underrated gaming genres that Sri Lanka doesn't necessarily do tournaments for? Baseplate, go.
I'd say racing, right? I'd say racing. I mean, I'd have to go with as much as I don't know, wanna say it out loud because Gustavo is such a race freak. As much as I wanna play Valorant for the rest of I mean, not for the rest of my life, but like at the same time, I'm just gonna say racing because it's fun. I've seen people play. It's fun, and you get on TikTok and you see those guys, like with the stuff, right? Like the steering wheel, the brake pads and everything. It's so much fun watching them play, bro. I've seen them drift. I can watch it for hours and hours and hours without actually being bored of it. It's so fun to watch.
Try
So I'd say
doing that on Assetto Corsa, man. Fucking.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
fucking difficult. Oh my.
I'm gonna have to go with racing, bro.
Yeah.
It's so
Gustavo,
fun.
go and don't say
Racing. Racing.
Racing.
Like, there's so like I'll tell you a thing. There's a tournament being hosted. I'm not gonna tell you which one because there's a lot of tournaments being hosted. And there's a Corsa tournament. Okay, and there's I think around 20 something members, and that's a full grid, right? That's a full grid. And there's only 3 races for the tournament.
I
3.
know this tournament.
Yeah.
I watched this tournament.
Oh no.
There's only 3 races, fam. 3 races. Nah. Racing.
That's a bit of a madness. I don't know why they did that. Alright.
Crazy.
And just a few more questions and we should be done. Okay?
Let's go.
So prepare yourself, take a deep breath, calm down.
Ooh,
Take a
yeah,
rest.
we good.
Favorite story-based single-player game of all time? Baseplate.
Halo. Oh, I love that
Gustavo.
game.
Gustavo.
GTA 5 because I don't really play single player games that much.
Really?
Yeah, I don't really play. I only like multiplayer games that has a competitive side to it. Like even Genshin, I just started playing it, but while playing it, I don't really care. Like it doesn't serve me a purpose. Playing Valorant, I can grind to a global rank and it'll end up making me something if I continue it. But I don't. For me, sitting there playing a single player game for hours on end, it doesn't make sense. But I do enjoy the new Spider-Man. I really like that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Baseplate first. CS:GO or Valorant?
Valorant, bro. Why would you ask a question?
Yo.
Like, hey, you got 2 Valorant players on your podcast, and this man asking about CS:GO, Valorant.
No. Just to piss the OG off. Just to piss the OG off. CS:GO or Valorant, Gustavo?
Yeah, don't
Valorant.
all these
It's a
CS:GO
no-brainer.
guys coming at me, man. Like, Valorant is like,
Who plays
cartoons.
CS anymore, man?
Valorant is like cartoons. Why you guys still play Valorant? Because it's just better.
Will you guys play Overwatch 2 when it comes out in 2 days?
Yes.
Baseplate?
I'd actually try because I play games like what's it called? I played games like Apex and stuff. So basically, like a lot of space involved. So I'll definitely go for like Overwatch. Get my track in, on spot.
Oh,
Yeah.
Overwatch is the best for tracking, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was like, that's what I was thinking as well. Like it will benefit me in Valorant as well if I go with the same sensitivity.
Yeah, but one thing you guys need to keep your eye on is that you guys will be way more impulsive, so keep that in check. because
Oh,
you need
shoot,
to
okay.
react to every single little sound effect or thing that happens to stay.
That's
top.
actually good training, right? That's actually good. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually pretty good.
Awareness.
Yeah, play Tracer for 5 hours straight and try playing
Oh
Valorant.
god,
Oh,
Tracer.
no.
I fucking dare you.
I played Overwatch like the first one, and I played Tracer. And this little woman running around. Oh god.
Fucking blinking around, traveling back
Yeah,
in
yeah.
time.
Oh.
It's a fun time all around.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think we are officially reaching the hour mark. I have midterms to study for, and hopefully
Oh,
not
okay.
fail tomorrow.
Oh,
So,
of course not, of course not.
gents, do you think we can call it a day?
Of course.
Of course,
So,
of course.
Thanks for having us. It was so
Before
fun,
we
actually.
do so, can you boys let everybody know where people can keep in touch with Exalted Demons? Do you guys have a social media presence, anything of the sort that people can follow? Yada yada yada. Or your individual profile or content creation spaces if you'd like to promote.
Right. So basically, for Exalted Demons, I mostly, so when it comes to tourneys and stuff, sometimes I do streams on my channel, and that's about it. And for social media, we don't really have much on social media. But if you guys need to keep in touch with us on Exalted Demons, I think you guys will have to go to Baseplate Live, which is on YouTube. And yeah, so that is my channel.
Link
my
will be
YouTube
in the
channel.
description.
Link will be in the description, guys. Baseplate Live. So yeah, that is mostly where I play a lot of games. So not just Valorant, but when it comes to our team, most of the stuff is from Valorant. Most of the stuff, yeah, it's on my channel, YouTube channel.
Alright, Gustavo, anything that you'd like to shout out? I did hear you
Yeah.
mention that you're doing TikTok or something.
Oh yeah. So if you want to get in touch with me, even if let's say you're like a low player, you might want some help. I'm always free. Like these days, like I wouldn't mind taking 30 minutes out of my time, like maybe an hour to help. So the TikTok is tiktok.com/@ttv.gus, like GUS. That is the same thing, ttv.gus on Instagram as well. And I stream on Twitch. I have streamed on Twitch. I need to start. University is a bit hectic because I will be streaming daily, if possible, on twitch.tv/Gandha Oni. So that's GANDAONI. So
A little bit about his personality, guys.
I hit some nasty shots, so yeah, that's
Band some nasty shots.
Twitch streamers unite. There's not many people streaming on Twitch.
Actually, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
To be fair, it is a tougher platform.
No, yeah,
True.
trust me.
We don't have reach in Sri Lanka for Twitch.
Yeah, but
That's
hey,
the problem.
it is what it is, right? So it's been absolutely lovely talking to both of you, and we
Yes,
hope
you too.
you guys actually take the time to actually shoot for the stars, and we'll actually see you one day maybe becoming the national team and going for international tourneys too.
Huh?
Breaking
Yeah.
that curse of being beaten by other people. We're gonna keep a close eye on you boys, okay? So do your best.
Huh?
Be
Thank
the
you,
best you can be.
Thank you very much for having
Thank you
us
so
here.
much
It
for having
has
us.
been
Yeah.
such a ride, bro. The questions was just, it didn't feel like an actual podcast because, like it didn't feel like an actual podcast where you have to like think so much, like, where you have to force your words out of it. But this actually felt like a real life conversation because it was so fun, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Fuck
Thank you very much, bro.
Why he said-
That's
why
the
he
beauty
said
of it
that.
being unfiltered, man.
Yeah.
So we do not have a goodbye sequence. So this is something we fuck up on every single podcast episode, and you two are
With the
gonna fuck
outro.
it up again with me. Okay?
Okay.
Pick one of the two, sayonara or goodbye, and in the count of 3, scream it at the top of your lungs.
Oh
okay?
my mic is.
Gus, we're thinking the same thing, though. We're thinking the same thing.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Sayonara!
Sayonara! Let's go!
Let's go, guys.
Okay, go.
And that's the end.